Today is Canada Day, a day this country celebrates freedom, democracy, diversity, and human rights. But here we are in front of the Chinese consulate in Toronto to protest. They made us do this. We came here because they made us do it. They made us come here because we are the voice of the voiceless Tibetans in Tibet. We will not stop to speak for the Tibetans who cannot speak because of the law you make. Today, the People's Republic of China is implementing its so-called ethnic unity and progress law. They call it unity. It is not. We call it what it is. It is forced assimilation. A law that weakens a people's language is not unity. A law that restricts a people's faith is not harmony. A law that seeks to erase people's identity is not progress. It is assimilation with the full weight of the state behind it, because now, starting today, they're making it a law. Now, the true danger of this law is not to be missed by anybody. Winnie just mentioned the few distinctions here. Thank you, Winnie, for doing that. I'm going to be speaking more on that. There is almost nothing new in this legislation, don't get me wrong. This repression of religion, the assault on Tibetan language, the surveillance, the ideological re-education, the separation of Tibetan children from their families and their culture, all of this has been happening in Tibet for years, for decades. What has changed is not the policy. What has changed is its legal status. Its legal status is something that Tibetans and the whole world should worry about and speak their voice against it. What Beijing is trying to do here, they're trying to make their policy permanent. It is trying to make repression look like rule of law. Policies can shift, campaigns can end, directives can be quietly reversed, but law is built to last. That is precisely why this moment demands the world's attention. China is not building a new system in Tibet. It is taking a system of repression that already exists and giving it permanence, the authority and the legitimacy of this legislation. Even the words have changed while the goal has not. What used to be called stability maintenance, poverty alleviation, development is now rebranded as ethnic unity. It's a new vocabulary, same policy. Now that it's a law, it's very dangerous. Once forced assimilation is written into law, anyone who criticizes it can be branded as enemy of the law itself. We live in a lawful country. We know what that means. Dissent becomes illegality. Accountability becomes nearly impossible, absolutely impossible. Nor does this stop at Tibet's borders. Around the world, democracies are waking up to transnational repression, authoritarian states reaching beyond their borders to intimidate, to surveil, and silence the diaspora communities. So make no mistake, this is not only a Tibetan issue, it is a test of whether international law, human rights, and cultural diversity mean anything at all. This is the real test. Tibet is one of the oldest civilizations in the entire world. Our language, our faith, our culture, our history cannot be legislated out of existence. And we are not alone in saying so. Human Rights Watch has said that. Human Rights Watch has warned that this law could further restrict the freedom of religion, language, cultural expression, and other fundamental rights protected under international law. The UN Commissioner of Human Rights has raised the same alarm. Around the world, democratic governments and human rights advocates are increasingly warning that laws like this are tools of transnational repression. That is why no one is safe from this law. Thank you, Winnie, for mentioning that nobody is safe. If you criticize even from a developed free country, you are subjected to Chinese execution if this law continues to be the law. That's why we got to speak against it. Not just Tibetans, not just Hong Kongers, not just Taiwanese, not just East Turkestan Uyghurs. No, the whole world has to take the responsibility on our shoulder, so this law is repealed. From Toronto here, we send our message to Beijing, loud and clear. You may pass unjust laws, you may legislate away, but you cannot legislate away Tibetan identity. You cannot legislate away the truth. You cannot legislate away our civilization. To our brothers and sisters inside Tibet, you are never forgotten. Your courage is our courage. Your resistance is our strength. We will always speak for you. As long also to the Tibetan communities in the free world, Toronto, Canada, the whole world, it is on us. On one day we come here and talk about Tibetans united will never be defeated. We go away from here and we just attack our Tibetan activists from right and left. That is not going to give us anything. If you are saying in front of the Chinese embassy, Tibetans united will never be defeated, let's do this. Especially today with this law that is so dangerous, let's put an extra effort to do this, to stand as united. Because as long as Tibetans, us, hold on to our language, our culture, our identity, Tibet lives. No one, especially the People's Republic of China, cannot erase Tibet. So please do all your part and say no to China. Pögyalo!